Hey, you're listening to a show called The Real Truth About You. And this is a show where we try to help you on your journey to discover the real you and then help you to live to your full potential. So right now I am broadcasting from outside of a big grocery chain, one of those big super type of stores. I'm not telling you what it is, but anyway, wife's inside getting some groceries. She says, why don't you just stay in the truck? And I said, well, I got a podcast anyway, so I got to broadcast this out. So anyway, I want to talk to you today about breathing, and I'm talking to you from my vehicle in the parking lot of this grocery store, because that's where real life happens. Real life happens in the grocery store, and it happens in the workplace, and it happens in the school ground, and it happens in the office, and it happens in the home. So when you're in real life things affect you. Sounds simple. Yeah, it does. And that's the way it is. But you know what? Sometimes life throws you curveballs. And sometimes you just feel like you need some help. You just feel like it's too stressful. I remember situations in my life where things just seem to be like, I'm just getting out of shape, bending out of shape. And I don't know what to do. And people say, why don't you do that? I don't know. Is that the right thing to do? I don't know. And I would get bent out of shape. Well, I want to tell you, this show is all about breathing. And not just breathing to stay alive. Yeah, you got to do that too. But I'm talking about breathing in and out so that you can hear it. So that when you're in the grocery store and you're getting stressed out because they don't have enough tellers and the line's really long and you got to get somewhere else with your kids or whatever you got to do, that you take time and you enter into this silence within yourself. And you can only accomplish that through listening to your breathing. Breathing is so important. Not just breathing to stay alive, but learning how to breathe so that you can become stress-free. Because here's what you do. When you're in that lineup and things are going wrong or something in your life's not happening the way you wanted it to, stop and breathe. But don't just breathe. Listen to your breathing. Listen to your breath as it comes in through your nose and out through your mouth. Just take that moment. Oh, yeah. But there's something about breathing and listening to your breathing. And I want to tell you, it really, if you're on the journey to discover the real you, breathing leads you to that discovery. When you're able to slow your life down enough, even for a moment, like I heard it say, a moment is like a universe just waiting to be explored. When you're in that moment, then life around you isn't as stressful as you think it is. For some reason, breathing brings you into the center of yourself and allows you to just focus on the moment. When you listen to yourself breathe, you cannot focus on anything else around you. It's really difficult to. I'm not saying you don't come in and out and you hear things and that, but when you're breathing and listening to your breathing, as you breathe in and breathe out, you can't help but just focus on that. And that has a calming effect, a centering effect. So when you get into a situation where you need to just center yourself, consider breathing like that. We're going to be talking more about breathing later on in other episodes, but this is just a basic introduction to that. I remember when we had 4 kids, and I remember we had a small 900 square foot house on one level, no basement or no upstairs or anything. And we were raising 4 kids in this house, and it would get pretty noisy, especially when they were really young. And I remember one time that before we started having kids or anything, a lady came to me and said to me, says, you know what, I just can't seem to get any time. I just can't seem to get any time for myself. It's just frustrating. I've got kids and things just aren't working out that way. So me and my wisdom of not having kids gave her some advice about kids. And I said, you know what to do? Is just go into the bathroom, close the door, and then take those 5 minutes to yourself. Now that's 5 minutes in silence and quietness. You can just take to yourself. Well, hey, I started having kids, and you know what I found out pretty quick? You can't close the bathroom door because you don't know what they're doing. Our bathroom used to be right off of our kitchen, and if you close that door, you don't know what they're up to. And so I would leave the door open, and next thing you know, there's kids in the bathroom with you. And not only in the bathroom, they're in between your pants and your legs, or up and climbing on top of the toilet, and you don't get any time at all. And that's the reality. But anyway, if you can identify with that, let me know. Raise your hand. Give me a comment. But anyway, what you need to do is take time to breathe. And I found many years later, now I'm 56 years old, if I found many years later on, you take that time to just breathe. Just take that moment aside and breathe. I'm saying the word over and over again, just so you get repetition of what it is just breathe. In, breathe out. And you'll notice a big difference in your life. Just listen to that breath as you breathe in, breathe out. Eventually you'll get to a point in your life where you start to do what's called meditation, if you're not doing that already. And through meditation, you'll find yourself be able to center your life. As you listen to yourself breathe, that's always the first exercise in meditation. To sit and listen to yourself breathe. You'll eventually get to a point where you can be in that grocery lineup and everything's going on around you. Your kids are hanging off you. But yet you can still enter into that inner self. Listen to yourself breathe. It doesn't have to be very long. And just center yourself. And you end up shutting out everything around you. Just for a moment, so that you can live in the moment. Okay, so that's on breathing. So remember, keep breathing. It'll help you stay alive too. Anyway, we will talk to you later in another show. And this is Will Sinclair signing off for this episode on Breathing, episode 2. Away we go. See you next time. Thanks for listening.